This is the penultimate race of the F1 2014 Career Mode Championship for Season 2. This is the Brazilian Grand Prix, and once again we have a 100% race on our hands for this race. I just simply love this track, I love this race, that's why we're doing another 100% race. Here we are in Friday practice testing some R&D components. This will be our final upgrade of the entire season, and it's a pretty big one, a 10% increase in mechanical grips, so hopefully that can sort of propel us towards the two Mercedes cars to help us win this championship. As you can see, just pretty much starting our lap, we had the mother of all lockups coming into the final corner. That's not going to do our tyres too good, but either way, it's not going to bother us too much, as this is just a worn set of primes that we won't be using for the entire weekend. So luckily, it's not going to hurt us too much. But at the end of Friday practice, we ended up in P1. We passed the R&D objective, and now we're just swapping out our power unit for the 5th and final power unit, because we saved this one for the end of the season, especially for Brazil, because it's such a power track and it should give us some kind of advantage.
That's first place, brilliant. Let's keep this momentum up for qualifying.
So here we are for qualifying 2. The first session was a dry session, however there is a heavy chance of rain, and as you can see, it's already struck. 100% chance of rain for Q2. I think Q3 might be wet as well, so it's going to throw a spanner into the works. For qualifying, or for the setup really, I've gone for 3 wings. Normally I'd go for something like 3-1, so I'm just sort of accounting for the rain a little bit in the hope that we can qualify well and challenge the Mercedes. So here we go for pretty much a side lap. This is essentially just going to be a banker to see where we stand in terms of wet weather pace. Hopefully, because it is intermediates, it won't be too bad. If it goes to wets, then we might struggle even more. So coming to the end of our very first lap in the wet, it's a 1:18.8, 2 seconds off the pace of, I think it was Daniel Ricciardo who set the early pace. So after that lap, it actually was a decent lap, surprisingly. I only made one small mistake, which probably cost me 2 or 3 tenths, but other than that, it was a fairly good lap. So we've essentially got to change the setup, because we're not going to make up 2 seconds just in pure driving performance. We've got to change the setup, and I think we're losing a little bit of time through that middle sector. Team radio.
Your times are okay through sectors 1 and 3, but you're losing a lot of time in sector 2.
Yeah, so the engineer confirming we are losing time in sector 2. About 3 tenths in sector 1, 3 tenths in sector 3, and then about a second in sector 2. That's where we made the mistake on our first lap. So I'm going to increase the arrow a little bit in the hope that it can make us a little bit quicker through that second sector, but we are going to lose a little bit in the first and especially the third sector. But I think it might be worth it as we come to our third lap here. This is just a cool down lap. We can see Rosberg, Jensen Button, and I think it was a Toro Rosso. Those guys came together, and you can see as we come into the pits, they've all retired from this qualifying session. So that's pretty interesting. They won't be able to set a faster lap time, but their times that they've already set will still stand. So it might make us a little bit easier to get into Q3 possibly. Going off on another lap, this is our final set of intermediate tyres. Brand new set, by the way, 5 laps of fuel, and we've only just missed the cutoff point on that previous lap. We'll be going again to try and get into Q3 if we can, but our intermediate pace really isn't looking that convincing, is it? Around a short track like Brazil, you know, the time differences between a lot of the cars is fairly close. If this was some other track, we'd probably be maybe a second off the pace or more, but I don't know. Coming to the end of our third lap now, we can see we're a 1/10 and a half up on our previous best. We might just about get into Q3 here, but we're going to lose a slight bit of time in this third sector. What's the gap going to be to us? Will we make it to Q3? Yes, we do. Only just by about, I don't know, half a tenth. It was absolutely ridiculous. But unfortunately through Q3, the AI stepped up their game a little bit, and I wasn't able to sort of stay with them. I actually went slower in Q3 than what I did in Q2. And, you know, the conditions really didn't improve as much, did they? So we ended up in P10, Jensen P8, Lewis Hamilton on pole. It's not looking good for this race. So the gap between myself and Hamilton in the championship is just 4 points. So if it stays like this, Hamilton is going to look very, very good heading into the final race of this season. So, in terms of the setup, we're pretty much going to leave it the same. There's nothing much we can really change due to Parc Fermé. If we did have Parc Fermé off, then we might have had more of a chance in the wet, but, you know, overall, I think we probably wouldn't have moved up all that much in terms of grid position anyway. The front wing, we moved that down to 5, just to give us a little bit more straight line speed and give us more opportunities to overtake in the race. The strategy is a 2-stop option, prime option. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes in terms of tyre wear. Whether we go option prime or maybe option prime. It's really going to be very interesting. I'm pretty much just going to react to what the AI do in terms of what happens with the tyre strategy. So here we go, ready for the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Wish me luck. Here we go, the penultimate race of the season, waiting for those 5 red lights to go out now, and away we go here in Brazil. We can see Hamilton has got off to a fantastic start. Rosberg trails him in 2nd place. Us, though, we've dropped down to P12, but we're going to make up a few positions if we can through the opening sequence of corners. Massa going slowly on the apex. We're going to try and go around the outside, which turns to the inside now for turn 3, and it looks like we might just about out-drag him here in the slipstream. We can see Bottas, Raikkonen and a Red Bull battling now into turn 5. Raikkonen goes very slowly, and we throw up the hand in frustration to Kimi, who has cost us 2 positions there, 1 to Bottas and 1 to a Red Bull just in front of us. So the opening lap, or the opening sector really, it's been fairly successful. We've moved up 2 or 3 places as we go up the inside of, I think that's Daniel Ricciardo, or no, it's Vettel. We're up into P7, I think now. Next up are the 2 Williams. As always, the 2 Mercedes cars leading by almost an entire postcode at the moment. So coming through the final corner, we'll try and climb onto the back of the 2 Williams cars and possibly overtake those guys. We can see just up the road there's, I think it's a Red Bull going very, very slowly, and that's building up a little bit of a train here. It's allowing the 2 Mercedes cars to get away, so we just can't afford for those 2 guys to get away because the championship, as you guys know, is so damn close. And as we go the inside of Massa there, that's us up in a P6. Next up is Bottas, as lap 3, the DRS is now enabled. Someone has lost their front wing though coming into turn 1, and that was Fernando Alonso. Coming into turn 1, he has obviously outbraked himself and completely plowed into the back of Daniel Ricciardo. I think we saw the exact same thing happen to Ricciardo on Alonso at Russia, if you guys remember that on the first lap. So very, very interesting scenes here as we can see Alonso now going very slowly on the exit of turn 3. We overtake Bottas as well, who was just an innocent victim there. He got held up quite a bit there. A free position for us, and now lap 6 now. We can see Daniel Ricciardo was right in front of us trying to close him in as he's burning a lot of fuel the early phase of this race. Now I believe he's saving fuel on this back straight, or the start-finish straight. We go around the outside there, and that was a fairly easy pass for us there around the outside. Lap 11 now, we can see, is that Lewis Hamilton right in front of us? No, it's a lap car, Kamui Kobayashi, already getting lapped on lap 11. It is a short lap time around here, so you're going to see a lot of lap traffic getting in the way in this race. Lap 13 getting around Pastor Maldonado, and obviously with the replay, we probably got really close to his front wing there, just cutting in front of him. And man, I don't know, I always have a habit for doing that. It feels like it's fine on my screen, but then when you see it on the replay like that, it is unbelievably close between myself and the back markers sometimes. Anyway, lap 14, we're losing Ricciardo, so he's about 2.4 seconds back. Lewis Hamilton just a few seconds up the road. There's a bit of Mercedes front wing scattered across the track there. Is that Lewis Hamilton's? He's going slowly now. He did catch up to a Marussia, so I wonder if he's lost his front wing here. This is going to be very interesting to see. He's still going very slowly, and Lewis Hamilton, has he just thrown away the championship by losing his front wing on a back marker? Yes, he has. He'll be pulling into the pit lane at the end of this lap, and he'll be a long way off the pace. But, you know, since we're so close to our pit window anyway, I don't think it's going to cost Hamilton an extra pit stop here. So, in actual fact, this might actually help Hamilton because he had a 5 or 6 lap undercut on myself. So he's going to be one to watch at the end of the race. Just watch and wait and see what Hamilton does and where he re-emerges after we all make our pit stop here on lap 22. So, coming onto this middle stint now, we're going on to a set of primes. I believe Rosberg stopped in on the same lap as well, but he is literally 20 seconds up the road. The Mercedes are so damn quick at this racetrack, simply because it's a power track and it really does suit the Mercedes down to a T. That's why we had to have the fresh power unit, just to compete with those guys, and obviously it's not really working, is it? But rejoining on the track, Hamilton is the blue dot on the minimap. You can see he is just a few positions behind us on a set of primes. He's going to be one to watch in a few laps time, you know, once he gets in front of those cars that are in front of him. But anyway, lap 31 now, we can see Vettel is trying to overtake us around the outside into turn 1. He's on a set of option tyres though, so he's going to be much quicker than us at this phase of the race. He's been setting purple sector after purple sector the last few laps, and now he's got in front of us. So I'm not going to try and hold him up too much. I'm actually going to let him go there and use the DRS to sort of stay with him and possibly like pull us along further along the racetrack away from Hamilton, if that makes sense. So, you know, there's no point in battling Vettel. He's not a championship rival or anything, even though we're battling with him right there. Our ultimate goal really is to stay in front of Hamilton in this race. So lap 36 now, getting up the inside of Bianchi, who, I don't know, going slowly through turn 1. I don't like how the AI always try to let you through in the middle of corners. That's always a recipe for disaster. And as you can see, right rear contact on left rear, sometimes that can send you flying or flipping if that was real F1, but luckily the physics aren't that advanced, let's say. But anyway, lap 38, we can see Jenson Button has unfortunately retired from the Brazilian Grand Prix. I don't know what it is about Jenson. He's had a lot of bad luck in the last few races, and once again, he's been bitten once again. I was actually expecting a safety car to come out because Brazil, there's such a high chance for safety cars to come out at this track. It's just in the algorithm of this game. But anyway, lap 41, we could see a few corners ago we ran wide. We got distracted as we were lapping someone, but now we can see Ricciardo is now on the attack, and he's trying to hold around the outside. We're into P2 now, by the way, because Vettel pitted for a set of primes. His option stint only went for a very short period. No, we got in front of him. That's my bad there. So just ignore what I just said there. Vettel is still behind us. He is still yet to make his second pit stop, but I assume it will be in about 1 or 2 laps time. The option stints only go for 22 laps. So Vettel once again is into P2, and I assume he'll be coming in on this lap now. It's lap 44, and that is another 22 lap stint out of the way for Vettel. So he's going to be one to watch in a few laps time. He's going to have about a 4 or 5 lap undercut on us. We'll be stopping on lap 48, I believe, and as you can see, Hamilton right behind us on a set of primes has stopped as well. So this is going to be very interesting now. Hamilton and Vettel now have the undercut. We're going to go into a set of options for the end of the race. I believe the other 2 cars will be on primes, so they're going to have track position. We're going to have to chase them down. It's going to be absolutely fascinating. A straight up fight between myself and Hamilton once again heading into the final race. How's the pit stop? 3.7 seconds, so once again McLaren have looked after me, but in terms of track position it looks like Hamilton will jump us coming into turn 1. However, we do have one positive though. Vettel is on the set of prime tyres and he is in front of Hamilton, so he might potentially hold him up a little bit, but Hamilton, as you can see, is very quick. 1:13.9. He is definitely on a set of options at the moment. So coming on to lap 51 now, we can see the gap is about 1 or 2 seconds. Hamilton is in front of Vettel now, and he is going to stretch away, but we have the pace as well, going purple to the first sector intermediate. Rosberg now setting the fastest lap as well. So myself, Rosberg and Hamilton all trading faster sector times at the moment. Vettel seemingly can't stay with us on a set of primes, so we'll need to get in front of him as soon as we can. Hopefully the DRS here will allow us to get a little bit closer to Hamilton, as he's lapping a back marker at the moment as well. So hopefully that can play into our hands as we set a 1:13.7, the fastest lap of this race. it's definitely not over yet. As you can see, Kobayashi right in front of us. He might just about give us DRS as well. As he pulls to the left, we had to swerve to the right at the last minute to avoid him, and we got seriously close to hitting Kobayashi there. You can see as we dive off to the left, we actually had the presence of mind to close the DRS at the same time to prevent us from flying into that outside barrier there, and we just avoided disaster there on lap 52, I think it was. So anyway, Hamilton is now stretching out the lead now, 13.7, but we're trying to stay with him as much as we can. 3/10 up on our previous personal best. Rosberg still putting in purple sectors as well, so this is just a titanic battle between myself, Hamilton, and Rosberg, trading these fastest laps. It's unbelievable at the moment. There's a bit of lap traffic getting in the way of Hamilton, which gives us a little bit of an opportunity, but we just miss out on DRS there, and the two Marussia cars just getting out of the way too, going very slowly, I must say. The gap to Hamilton is as close as it's ever been at the moment, but unfortunately after that my tyres started to go out the window pretty much in terms of tyre wear, and Hamilton, for whatever reason, he just continued to set fastest lap after fastest lap. We were still catching Rosberg at the same time, but Hamilton, he was absolutely flying, putting in purple sectors every single lap. It was like he was a robot. He is a robot in this game, but it was, I don't know, it was like it was scripted, like he was supposed to get fastest lap every single time. There was no way I could stay with him. So after the gap got out to about 10 seconds, I sort of gave up the fight a little bit, put the car down into lean, saved the car, and just brought it home for 3rd place in the Brazilian Grand Prix.
That's 3rd on podium. Well done. Good race.
So there we go, lads. 3rd place in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg has won from Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. Lewis was just simply on fire through the second half of the race. He lost his front wing, came back through the field, and beat us by about 16 or 17 seconds. Absolutely ridiculous, his pace in the back end of the race. Like I said, he was on a mission, and if Mercedes really wanted to be cruel to us, they could have let Hamilton win and potentially give him even more of a chance to win this championship, but it wasn't to be. The Drivers' Championship is now only separated by 1 single point. Heading into Abu Dhabi, double points are on offer. We simply just need to beat Hamilton to win the championship. And with double points on offer, Nico Rosberg is still in the fight. So if he wins the final race and myself and Hamilton finish, I don't know, like 4th or 5th, then Rosberg could win the championship. So essentially, 3-way fight heading into Abu Dhabi. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and until the next race in Abu Dhabi, I'll see you guys next time.